All right, hi, I'm Kameron Osterman, and this is me video. So starting off, talk about my self-concept. Growing up, I grew up in Washington State, and I was very outgoing, talked to all my friends. I had a lot of friends. Um, yeah, and I would say I was just outgoing, extroverted for sure. And then I moved to Wisconsin the summer going into my sophomore year of high school, and going in, I was thinking of it as a fresh start. It'd be dope to make some new friends and stuff, but I just was never able to fit in, and so I definitely stopped talking to people. I became really introverted, and didn't really make that many friends, so I wasn't really talking to that many people, and it kind of took I would say not a toll on me, but basically I, you know, kind of forgot how to communicate good with other people. So, overall, now that I moved to GCU, I've been able to rekindle, start communicating good again, and be more outgoing. So as far as my self-concept, I would say for my whole life I've been pretty extroverted and love making new friends. But when I moved to Wisconsin during high school, it felt like forever, even though it was 3 or 4 years. But I just when I wasn't talking to anyone, I would say what I thought of myself, I was just not outgoing. I'd rather stay at home and not really talk to anyone, and it ties into my my self-esteem, because back in Washington, I thought I felt good about myself. I was confident in myself, and then I moved to Wisconsin. And when my communication started going down, I started not feeling good about myself, and I just didn't think I just wasn't confident. I didn't think I was good enough to be friends with people, until I got a job, and then I met one of my best friends, who I hung out with all the time. And I would say from then, I was always talking with him. We'd always go out and do stuff. I made friends through him, and I'd say my self-esteem went up insane amount after doing that. So it's kind of been a roller coaster, but it was only a short amount of time where I would say both my self-esteem and my self-concept were way different than what I was used to. But it felt like forever because it just wasn't what I was used to. And then it went back up, coming out to Arizona for school was good to, meet my roommates. I've been friends with some of the guys that I met my freshman year, so it's been pretty awesome. As far as my culture goes, obviously I would say I'd fit in with the culture of the United States, born and raised in this country, so there is that culture that I think everyone fits into. But at the same time, my worldview has always been changing. I grew up going to church and stuff, and with being surrounded by Christians, and my parents are Christian and stuff, and going to Sunday school. And then I stopped going, and I used to go to youth group too, but I don't know, I think once I started getting older, having more thoughts for myself, I kind of started just thinking differently, and kind of looking at other worldviews, or thinking differently. And I think today's society, I definitely think, is it headed in a negative path, or whatever you want to call it, but I think it's going downhill. And so I don't consider myself part of the same thought train or process of today's society. So I think my worldview is really different, because I've grown up going to church. I'm not saying I don't believe in that stuff now, which I do, but just once I started thinking for myself, my worldview's changed definitely. Just looking, having my own thoughts, and and I'm not afraid to challenge something, or be different about something. So so I don't know there's not a group or subgroups that I would put myself into, because I never liked being part of groups.